It's just
literally when it's about to start.
Our poor camera guys upstairs. I mean, it is just coming down. Hopefully that will subside at some point. And here's a quick turnover to start. What an opportunity there for Wake, and rolled Mitchell. And you see some of the press that he is able to initiate very early on.
He's their dangerous guy. He pressed right away, right off the kickoff.
Ball comes out on the near side. The Eagles 2-3-3 overall. They're 0-2-1 in the ACC. Again, the 1 is the tie against, at the time, 17th ranked Pitt on this field a couple of weeks ago. That was a 0-0 game. And it's important for BC that Brennan Klein is back in goal. We mentioned that fact. Brennan, when he's played this year, making his 7th start, has an 0.51 goals against average. That is 11th best nationally so far this year.
And it's not like he isn't facing shots. There's been a lot of shots from a lot of different opponents, so he's doing an excellent job. This BC team is young. They're great defensively. They just need to get something going on offense.
Serafino throws it in. Dos Santos for the throw-in on the near side, ahead of Bob Thompson, his 4th year at the helm of Boston College. He has a couple of wins over Wake Forest in his career, both of them on this field. Eagles' back line is so important. Again, BC is again without Diego Ochoa in the starting lineup today, which puts Burkhart back there. We've talked about this system that Boston College likes to play, that they've tried to implement. It's a really young Eagles team with almost 70% of their field minutes coming from freshmen and sophomores. But so much is predicated on the choice from those 3 in the back and how they handle the press.
Yeah, and they're facing a lot of pressing teams, and today will be no exception. Wake Forest is going to press them, and with 3 in the back, you're somewhat vulnerable sometimes, but that's when you have to have guys come back and help on D. Serafino right now on the right side is coming back and helping out, so they're going to need to do that in addition to moving forward and attacking.
Wake sends a long ball. Sidney Paris got it over top, looking for Jelani Forbes, the senior from Claremont, Florida. And it's in on Brendan Klein. There's Bobby Muse. What a run he has had at Wake Forest. In his 9th season at the helm, taking over after a successful stint as the head coach of Denver. And Wake has just been a dominant program in that time. 135 wins under Bobby Muse in those 9 years. That is 12 more than anyone else in the country over that same span. Here's Sidney Paris, picks it up on the left side. Forbes got it forward, trying to find Flax, who then plays it back through his back line, and Prince Amponsa, the junior from the Bronx. Javi O'Neal got a piece of it for BC, and here's Farwell before he was fouled from behind. Foul called against Wake, so the Eagles will have possession.
Escorbano trying to get through a number of BC players there, and it just wasn't going to work. There's too many white shirts. So I think both teams are going to have to limit their touches and spread the field a bit. Taking 3 guys on like that is just not going to work with the success of BC's defense so far this year.
Paris, the junior from Ontario, working against Marco Dos Santos, one of this group of freshmen for Boston College. That's out on the near side. Figure that early feeling out process has to be magnified when the conditions are a little less than ideal.
Absolutely. And not only that, but as you mentioned, this is an early game. This is, these teams are not used to playing this early.
Played forward for Kajima, working against Burkhart, and that is a goal kick. Or beg your pardon, a corner kick for Wake Forest. So first corner for Wake of the game. The Deacons, who average just under 5 corner kicks per game, which is 10th in the ACC, but they'll get an opportunity here.
Man marking obviously important right here. Do not ball watch. You need to mark your men as closely as you can.
Wake goes short with it. Paris comes up, flips it on. Header try! It hit the bar and Klein got a piece of it. Wake thought it went. Brennan Klein on a dangerous header. What a job by Mitchell to get that chance.
Quick little cross, and Mitchell gets up sky high. The guy, he's 6'2", so he's a tall kid. He gets up there, gets the head on it. Klein gets a hand on it and luckily hits the crossbar and then it's cleared.
At the end of that, Garrison Tubbs coming in caught one of the Eagles in the back. That close to giving Wake an early lead. What an opportunity off the design of the corner. Ted Cargill plays it wide. There's Jonathan Murphy, the Eagles' leading scorer this year, scored 2 in the first 2 games of the season for Boston College. Xavi O'Neal retreats back for Burkhart. And that is out off of Christian Escribano, the junior from Frisco, Texas. Take another look. So right there is where Tubbs caught the back of Gundelach for Boston College. And it looked like Muse was trying to argue that there was a foul, which is what forced Tubbs to kind of lose his footing and why he was up in the air. That's thrown on by Augie Bawadi, and a good job by Trace Alfin to find it, the junior keeper from Raleigh.
Bawadi sneaking in there. He has the speed to get the end line. He beat that ball and got a cross off. Over
top for Rold Mitchell, but was offside.
And we've talked about Rold Mitchell a little bit. You know, he has 7 goals. He's second in the ACC in scoring. And again, none of those goals are against ACC opponents. But as you saw in that last attempt there, an almost goal, he's so dangerous in the air, with the ball at his feet, all over the place. So he's bound to get an ACC goal sooner or later.
One thing that Bobby Muse talked about with us this week was Bruno Lapa, who is such a successful player for Wake Forest over the last few years, and how his goal numbers dropped as a senior from where he was as a junior. But it was something that Coach Muse kept saying, hey, you're still doing all the things to help us in our scoring, even if you're not the one finishing at the moment. The finishing will come, but how the press is being initiated, how he's getting guys involved up top, and it feels like it's something similar with Mitchell right now.
Absolutely. He's one of those guys that plays a huge key up top. And what he does is he initiates the press on defenders and he opens up the space for other attacking players. So it's not just scoring goals, it's opening up spaces for other guys.
Farwell forward for Dos Santos. Bawadi with a one-touch, but was well defended by Prince Amponsa. Amponsa was an All-ACC third-team and tournament team selection last year, making his 6th start in Wake's first 8 games of the season this year. Of the games he's played, coming back and returning to health. So a Wake team that really had not been fully healthy until maybe a week ago. They had some different pieces coming in and out, but pretty close to back and fully healthy at this point. Around the halfway point of the season, really, as you're gearing up for the stretch run, is important.
That was a big win against Clemson the other day as well. And like Coach Muse said, they may not have played their best game against Clemson, but they did get the result. That's what matters. And again, they played an excellent game against Pitt when they lost 3-0, and they probably played better than Pitt that night. But so the 3-0 score was not indicative of how that game went. Same a little bit against Clemson the other night. Clemson probably was not the better team, but Wake Forest came out with a 1-0 win.
Played forward, opportunity for Forbes to get it, sends it across, they score! Cooper Flax gives the Deeks a 1-0 lead.
Cooper Flax is one of those guys who's very effective and very involved with many different situations on the field for Wake Forest. He's been involved with playmaking throughout these matches the last few games. So he's one of those guys that, BC had to keep their eye on. And just one of those guys that maybe doesn't get a lot of press, but he's definitely involved with a lot. And here you see the replay. That's a nice through ball. And watch this. This ball's on the ground the whole time across. No one's marking there. Top of the 18, slides it past Klein.
Forbes found a way around his defender and sets up Flax well. First goal of the season comes in the 10th minute. And second game in a row for Wake where they've really gotten out to the fast start. Last time out on the road, Tuesday at Campbell, it was 2 goals in the first 20 minutes for Wake Forest. And Flax gets on the board here. 10th minute goal for the sophomore. Forbes with his 3rd assist and 7th point of the season for Wake Forest.
BC really needs to respond here, obviously. That's a huge morale booster for Wake Forest getting on the board early.
Well, this is a Wake Forest team that does not often lose results when scoring first. You see the numbers in Bobby Muse's 9 years. It's 3 losses in 9 years when they've scored the game's first goal. Mitchell trying to find it. Farwell knocked it up in the air. And played forward here by Wake Forest. That was Liam O'Gara who found a way out of there and got it going to the right side. Freshman has played really well in the central midfield for Wake so far this year. That was a no-look pass, and Farwell just has to kind of take it out of a dangerous area all the way on the end line, and it does lead to a goal kick.
So BC doing a good job collapsing in the area there, getting guys back and closing in on Wake Forest so they cannot get any quality chances inside the box, and that's a key to what they need to do. They've been doing that well all year. Defensively, BC has really held their own. Again, you're playing against the top teams in the country. The ACC is clearly the top conference in the country, so any teams can be very good in these conference games. BC's really held their own defensively. They just need to get more shots, take more shots, score more goals.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen where this game has been on the pitch so far, right? The Eagles had kind of one half chance from the right side with Bawadi. But otherwise, the opportunities have been down Wake's end. Shots are 2-0 in favor of the Demon Deacons.
And again, not to reiterate what just happened, but that goal, the ball was played on the ground. There was really no one marking Cooper Flax coming in at the top of the 18. He was wide open. So you need to close those spaces down. You cannot let him have that chance. BC is usually very good at that, but I don't know if they just didn't notice him making the run that quickly.
Serafino to throw. Chavi O'Neal trying to create space. Chavi, that got deflected. Oh my, still came close as it kind of pinballed through to that far post.
And when he made that move at the top of the box, he's done that so many times on the other side of the box. He makes a quick side move right here like that, and then he gets a shot off. He's done that a few times from the other side of the box, and that's where he's most dangerous.
There's the freshman, Chavi O'Neal from Herndon, Virginia. Eagles off a corner. This goes very deep. Ends up with Bawadi, and that's too high.
Yeah, I think Chavi O'Neal is definitely a key to this, turning things around here in this game and actually getting on the board. He's just such a dangerous player. And like we mentioned in the pregame, get the ball to his feet, get the ball to the attacker's feet. Good things will happen if they do that.
Eagles leader in shots with 17 of them. 7 of those 17 have been on target so far this year. Bob Thompson's talked a lot, not just about getting more opportunities, but having, when those opportunities come, they're being really good, high-quality chances and high-quality opportunities. That was an example of it there. Kind of a little something out of nothing, but turned into what ended up being a set piece out of the far corner.
And I think it took Wake Forest a little bit by surprise, and they're seeing how dangerous Xavier O'Neal can be. That's the thing. I think you have two very dynamic offensive threats on each team. Xavier O'Neal and Mitchell for Wake Forest. I mean, those guys are just, they know how to score. They're dangerous when they get the ball. And so I think that's going to be a key to this game.
Out on the near side, BC throw 1-0 Wake. 15 minutes into this rainy first half in Newton. That goal, by the way, was the first goal surrendered by Brendan Klein at home this year.
Now that is an interesting stat. I mean, we don't want to harp on stats too much, but that is definitely a noteworthy stat. And again, that goes to show that, you know, BC has done some successful things this year on defense.
Here's the goal scorer, Flax. Flax decides to take it and ends up with a corner kick off the deflection. So a really good start for Cooper Flax, the sophomore from Dix Hills, New York. Was an all-freshman team selection last year in the ACC with a goal and 5 assists.
You got to watch the guy at the top of the box there. She's got to be aware of him.
Knocked down Boati, then it's given away. Paris right on the end line, trying to sneak it through, and the Eagles find a way to clear it out. It's almost less of a giveaway and more just not quite getting there, as it kind of sat loose here, and Boati just too strong on the touch.
Yeah, his first touch just was not good there. Dangerous turnover. Luckily, they got away with it. He did hustle back, though. I give him credit.
Serafino starts it forward, knocked right down by Sidney Paris. Paris, who started his playing career at Navy for a couple of seasons, including being named to the Patriot League first team in 2021 before transferring to Wake. This is second season with the Demon Deacons. Well, there's always these moments throughout the course of a game, especially when you're playing the style that Boston College is playing, where there's a lot of time in your back end, a lot of time with that press on, and right now the Wake press has certainly been one of the biggest factors in this game.
Yeah, I mean, when you face a team like Wake, you have to make sure that your passes are precise. You're getting your head up as soon as you get the ball, and you're looking to pass it through the midfield and out wide as well. I mean, it's one of those things where you just have to be aware of what Wake is doing, because they're all over the field and they're going to press you all game long.
Murphy over top. Boati got a head on it, and that is out, and a goal kick for Wake Forest.
That was an example right there, which not such a bad opportunity, but what we talked about in the pregame, I think it's key for BC to get balls to feet. They got to get the balls to Boati's feet and to O'Neal's feet. And once they do that, those guys are so dangerous in the box that anything can happen. But when you get those long serves there and it's somewhat hard to control, you know, the percentages of success aren't that great.
It's kind of that conversation, how to break teams down on the ground consistently. Tough to do against this back line of Wake Forest. as the rain really starting to pick up once again here in Newton. Here's Forbes, set up the opening goal for Wake, trying to do it again. This time it was well cleared out by Boston College. Boati tied up with Amponsa, and Wake cycles it through.
It's a good example of Wake just rotating the ball, switching the field so quickly. Such highly skilled players. And Ponsa there saved the ball on the sideline there, switched it to the middle, and then all of a sudden it's on the other side of the field. So they're just very quick on the ball.
Burkhart back for C.J. Williams. There is Ted Cargill, native of London, on this Ted Lasso Day here at Boston College. It's the theme of the day for the fans. We're going to talk more Ted Lasso as we go through and talk to some of the players about it on our halftime show today. Make sure to stay tuned for that. Ted came up through the Stoke City Football Academy, so I don't know his partisan thoughts on Richmond either way.
Entertaining show for sure. I'm sure Ted has something to say about it, being a fellow Brit.
Burkhart wide, the Eagles playing through the back. Here is Boati as he knocks it forward. Gundelach as the Eagles trying to develop here a bit. Serafino will come back. So the Eagles holding possession here at all costs.
So they're finding a little space on the left side, but going through the middle there to Cargill and then switching it over again. They want to maintain this possession.
Farwell trying to find space, goes wide for Murphy. So again, when we've talked so much about system style, whatever word you want to use for what the Eagles are trying to do, this sequence is sort of it, right? Holding possession as much as possible, trying to find room to break teams down on the ground.
Exactly, and it's ironically, that's what Coach Muse from Wake Forest wants to do as well. He feels like their team, they want to hold the possession and then attack, and BC's sort of doing the same thing, and that's how they've been successful. And if they can maintain the possession, especially with Wake Forest all over you, I mean, they're marking pretty tightly in their defensive end, so it's been tough for BC to get anything going or anywhere near the penalty area.
A little mistake there in the back. It was too strong a touch, and the Eagles will get possession back. Murphy on a deep throw. Coming up on 22 minutes remaining in this first half from Newton. 1-0 Wake on the Flax goal. That's settled nicely by Mitchell. And Forbes retreats to Sidney Paris.
We're now going the other way. Wake's trying to do the same thing. Possession, move forward, and then penetrate.
Second game of the week for Wake. We mentioned they played at Campbell Tuesday night, so a touch of a quick turnaround. Here is Flax. Wide for Forbes. Stops it well, comes back for Flax. Right on the edge of the box against Serafino. Forbes centering up. Chance comes on, deflected out. And a Wake corner kick.
And that's Kojima again. He was at the top of the box earlier when we were noticing it.
In fact, no, it's off of Wake, so goal kick.
Right, goal kick. But that was Kojima at the top of the box. You'll see here, number 16, one of their captains. You know, he's coming in pretty quickly right there. He gets the shot off. And guys need to close that space a little bit quicker. because he's been available at the top of the area a few times so far. That time, obviously, didn't go in, but he got a good shot off.
It was Cargill who was the one sliding in, and I thought made the initial deflection, but then pinballed off Old Gold as well. So BC takes it out. But possession back in on Wake here. Kojima, the senior from Japan, was an ACC watch list selection this year. Last year in limited time, ended up playing just 10 games, but was very effective. 3 goals and an assist, and all 3 were game winners.
Yeah, very effective player. Obviously plays in the middle, attacking right down the middle, and they need to be aware of him. As you can see right now, so Wake's going to get a corner here, and there's Kojima right outside the area. Let's see what happens here. If they come up with a short kick and then a cross, or they try to get it to Kojima, there's a short one.
Chipped on again. Oh, going for the bicycle kick try was Mitchell.
Yeah. And the guy, he played for Red Bulls too, in the USL. He's getting that quote unquote professional experience, even though he's still an amateur in college. He's going to be a professional player at some points, but you can see how dangerous he is in the air trying to do a bicycle kick.
It's beautiful when it works, but when it doesn't.
Yeah, the percentage is very low to get, to score on that, but he's still dangerous.
Spent some time in January, was selected to the US U20 men's youth national team camp, so some international experience as well with the national team, as well as with Red Bulls too. It's one of the interesting things about the academies, especially here in the United States. The continued growth of MLS Next Pro is kind of a second level underneath Major League Soccer, but over kind of what was the USL, and more MLS teams are sending their B teams to play in MLS Next Pro, and you see more and more college players who have gotten experience there, and just adds to, like you said, that pseudo-professional environment before these kids come into college.
Yeah, it's making a huge difference. And, it's a model that the U.S. has been trying to establish for a number of years, kind of like what Europe's been doing for so long, and that's how you develop these players. You get a handful of really good college players playing at that level, and they're playing against better competition, and it really is like a professional environment, and that's how you prepare if you want to take it to the next level.
It's kind of this best of both worlds, because it's allowing, just as you talked about, it helps develop the United States and soccer and some of these academy teams to move up, and that it also gives MLS a forum to experiment with different things. And that's a league that's gone to penalty kicks rather than having ties for a couple of years now. This year they had pick your opponent in the playoffs for the first time, which created some fireworks over the last week. So it's certainly an interesting league in just its second season here in the United States.
Right, yeah. It's all good, and it's all, with the intention of, bringing the U.S. Soccer Federation, U.S. soccer in general, to that World Cup level to actually win a World Cup someday. So all these development programs and these different leagues, these make these kids, they turn them into professionals, and it can only be a good thing moving forward. This stuff wasn't here 10 years ago. I mean, there were random leagues. The USL was here, and there was competing leagues. The NASL tried to get reestablished again, but with these development leagues, with a pyramid system, they're modeling it after Europe, and it's the only way to go, I think.
Ball comes to the middle. That shot from fairly deep from Colin Thomas, the senior from Canton, Georgia. And Klein was there, no problem. Wake continuing to push back here. Escorbano sent it wide, and now through the back line in the rain in Newton on this Friday afternoon. 4th ACC contest of the year for each of these teams. Again, it's a shorter conference schedule in the ACC than you might think, just because of the number of teams. It's really just the 8 conference games, which always is a bit of an interesting wrinkle. So the conference records are never quite as good as you might expect for some of these top teams, but it certainly prepares you for the NCAA tournament. Farwell commits the foul and right on the edge of the box.
Kojima made a nice quick move there and was taken down. That's why he's always available.
It's right there. It was that second one, 32, grabbing the arm.
Right. I mean,
maybe grabbing the arm.
It was a little questionable. I mean, not every official is going to call that, especially right outside the area like that.
So what a chance here for Wake.
Well, yeah, and the referee went to his pocket. I thought he was going for a card, and I said, if that was going to be a yellow card, that would be ridiculous. Luckily, he wasn't. He was just going for his spray, so he can spray down where the marker where the shot should be taken. But
so Jelani Forbes is there on the left. Cooper Flax on the left, as most people know the left. Forbes is on the right. As we get set to go on this free kick for Wake. Already up 1-0. Flax missed wide.
Yeah, not a great take. Obviously, he was looking for the upper 90, upper left-hand corner. He's got a little bit under at that time. Now he's going to be subbed out with roughly 14 minutes left in the half.
So Bo Cummins is in for Wake Forest. Baba Niang, the junior from Senegal, and Jeffrey White, the freshman from Tampa. White, who made his first career start on Tuesday at Campbell, but that was something that Bobby Muse mentioned to us this week. He said that was not like a courtesy start in the midweek or anything like that. He absolutely earned that start, and that's why he was in that role on Tuesday.
And I think they do have a few players like that. You know, they earn their spots. They're not always going to start, but they're going to come off the bench and be very effective.
Here is Dos Santos. That bounds off one of the Wake defenders in front of him, and then a good job by Kojima to come back in and clear that ball out. So again, kind of one-and-done possession for the Eagles down one end, and here is Jeffrey White matriculating for Wake down the other end. Oh, Cummins with a little bit of space in front of him. O'Gara plays it through the back line. One thing Wake really feels confident is their depth and the skill of their depth and how that has the potential to wear some teams down as the game goes on.
Right. I mean, you saw a number of guys just go in and fill in certain roles as the starters came out, but you know, they're not really losing much quality here. As you can see, they're maintaining the possession and pressing BC right away. And there was that situation again with Kojima near the top of the box. A little confusion, so he wasn't able to get to it, but BC's got to be aware of that.
Ball still loose. Niang, that's off Williams. And here is Dos Santos. Looked like he was trying to set up Xavi O'Neal there for a run, but it ends up back in with Garrison Tubbs. 12:30 remaining here in this first half. Been a back and forth history between these two. Here's a great chance. Mitchell comes back to his left leg, and that is knocked out. Another Wake corner kick coming up. We mentioned it off the top of the show. I mean, you have to go back to 2017, the last time a road team won in this series, which has gone back and forth and been played every year since that point.
Home field advantage for both teams. Wake does very well at home, obviously, as well. They beat Clemson the other night. They tied Syracuse, the week before. So they're very successful at home. BC's successful at home as well.
Wake's fourth corner of the game. That bounces, and it's down with Klein. Didn't grab it initially, but then found it.
That was pretty lucky, I think. He punched it, tried to punch it, and I think missed it. Ended up hitting his shoulder or his arm and popped right back to himself. But lucky break for Klein there.
It was Garrison Tubbs who was right there for Wake. So 11:08 to go. Shots are 7-2 Wake Forest. 3 of them on goal for the Deacs. Wake has really done a good job holding it down this end of the pitch. Thomas. Away from Farwell. Here is Bo Cummins, the junior from Port Huron, Michigan. Another New York Red Bulls 2 Academy guy on this Wake Forest team. White played it forward, looking for Niang. A lot of possession here for Wake Forest in their attacking end of the pitch.
BC just kind of rotating and switching from side to side, hoping for a break, turnover, and then a counterattack the other way. But you have to limit the fouls, just like right there, because these are going to be chances that Wake Forest has. As you can see, they're attacking right away.
Yeah, they jumped right in and decided to go quick off that restart. Eagles did a good job to defend.
At the same time, that clearance there, I mean, yes, it's a good idea to clear, but you can also try to find the feet of your attacking players. You know, you have to settle the ball on the ground and develop from midfield.
Cummins has space in front. Bo Cummins, that's deflected up high. And corner kick number 5 for Wake Forest. Deeks have the 1-0 lead. Here's the setup from Jelani Forbes, leading to the Cooper Flax goal.
Cooper Flax at the top of the box. If it's not him, it's Kojima. That time it was Cooper Flax, and ball right on the ground. You know, it's just a matter of closing that down, like I said earlier, and making sure no one gets a quality shot on goal from that spot. Since then, it's really been Kojima at the top of the box, so they need to watch out for him as well.
Wake has had some really nice designs on their corners so far. This is way up in the air, looking for a header. Serafino couldn't strip it away. That was Leo Guarino, the junior, who nearly had the opportunity from the wide side. And under 10 minutes remaining here in this first half. Ted Cargill comes wide for Gundalak. Serafino. Eagles have yet to make a sub in this first half. They have 2 that are about to come in at the next opportunity. Xavi O'Neal trying to get positioning. Gundalak plays it back forward for Serafino. Trying to find space, could only play it back to CJ Williams.
I think one of the more effective things that BC could do as well is just, you know, limit it to 1 and 2 touches and move the ball. You know, sometimes they find themselves in too much traffic on the right side here. Serafino found himself, he had to switch it around. But 1 and 2 touches are a little bit more effective, and you need to do that against a quick team like Wake Forest.
That's what Farwell did there. Over top for Murphy, it is too strong.
Not a bad idea, but again, the percentage of success for that kind of serve into the box is not great, particularly with a great defensive unit like Wake Forest has.
2 subs in for Boston College. Henry Okenla, the freshman from London, is in as well as Simba Odhiambo, the first year from Austin, Texas, making his Boston College debut today. Played his high school at Shattuck St. Mary's in Minnesota, native of Austin, Texas. And so Okenla and Odhiambo come in up front.
And that's good composure, you know, maintain the possession here in the last 6 minutes of the half. BCC can get a couple of good chances on goal, and at least protect their own goal and go into the half 1-0.
Possession to Wake, right in front of the Boston College bench. Escribano, it's turned over. Here's Odiamba. Wide for Okenla. Centering ball, got all the way through. Farwell trying to chase it down, but Bo Cummins clears it out to the far side. So a decent spurt forward. How hard is it when you see some of these moments? It feels like there's some progression here for Boston College, but it's not necessarily leading the shots. And now here's a turnover, so we'll get back on that point in a minute. Jake Swallen coming back. Here's a chance, centering up Oliver, but it's cleared out by Gundelach. But you're trying to build, you're trying to take positives out of some of these buildups, even if they haven't even gotten all the way towards goal yet.
Well, and I think Okenla and Odiambo going in there, fresh legs. You know, they're only going to play for the last 7 minutes of the half. You know, they're fresh. They get in there, and you saw what happened. Nice cross, good opportunity. You know, the momentum tends to go that way when you a couple of small little success stories like that, and your momentum can start to change, and then you never know what's going to happen. So I think it's probably a great substitution to get these fresh legs in there and see what they can do.
And Ponsa. That deflects out. Boston College throw-in coming up. Here's that last sequence that we were talking about with BC.
Right, and here's the fresh legs, the two guys, 29 and 30. And you see there, Okenla gets a nice cross off. There's no one there on the other end, but you got some bodies getting into the box. That's an opportunity. You never know what's going to happen. If you crash that box and you get more bodies in there, you're bound to get at least a good shot on goal.
All the way in the back line, Trace Alfin, the junior, starts the rush to the near side. Escribano, 3:24 remaining first half. And this 1-0 lead for Wake, the 10th minute goal by Cooper Flax.
And by the way, that last series that we just saw replayed on with Okenla and Odiambo, you know, that's one of those situations where you need guys in the box, like I said, but the way BC has been playing, they've been sitting back a little bit, so they've almost been defending too much. And yes, you do have to do that against a top quality team like Wake Forest, but you also have to take those opportunities to get upfield. You got to get those center midfielders up in the box for those chances, even if there's only a few minutes left in the half. Sometimes it just takes a lot of effort to get up there, but you got to do it.
Burkhart with patience.
On the flip side, there could be a counterattack, and Wake Forest is off to the races the other way. So, you know, there's a fine line there. There's a balance.
Okenla trying to create positioning is run off, and Wake's going to get whistled there. It looked like that was pretty good positioning for a while for Prince Amponsa, but then you're going to see it turns into a little bit more of a shove.
Yeah, and he just couldn't get around him. It was one of those things where he had his hand on him and behind him, and he's trying to get around. And yeah, both ways. It's one of those things. It could go either way.
Sometimes you do give the forward kind of the right of way to try to get to the ball, and was prevented from getting there then. So now all of a sudden, you know, as long as this game is 1-0, all of a sudden this is a huge opportunity right here for Boston College.
Here are the chances that you need to take advantage of. And again, guys are getting, you know, a 30-second rest here, so they're in the box. You know, getting ready and set for this, for what amounts to be a short corner.
Cargill is the one with his back turned. Dos Santos as well. Cargill, low ball, got deflected back towards Wake, and here's that potential counter that you were talking about. Chase Oliver out front for Jeffrey White. And the freshman dancing, and his lead ball forward is too far for Babo Niang.
And that's great that Serafino came back like that. He's been known to come back on D, and he does a great job, even though he's often an offensive player. But yeah, this counterattack is exactly what you have to watch out for from Wake Forest. Cargo gets back, Serafino gets back, he maintains him, he kind of pushes him outside, directs him outside, and then there's the errant pass there. So, the play is over, but, BC's, and that's what they've been so good at, getting back on D like that.
Player down for Wake right at midfield. They'll stop time with 24 seconds remaining in this first half.
This is a good challenge. I mean, it's not nothing dirty about it. He just goes up for the ball. He gets the body.
And it is a yellow card that's been assessed to BC.
I mean, it's a hard challenge, yes. Maybe it warrants a yellow, but at the same time, it's a good challenge. Seen a lot worse yellow cards, put it that way.
So Wake off the restart, 24 seconds remaining. CJ Williams heads it down. Maybe one more shot. Well defended by Serafino. And that will do it for the first half. So 1-0 in favor of Wake Forest on the Cooper Flax 10th minute. Kind of call them front guys. I know they're not all forwards, but between Bawadi, Hughes, O'Neill, and Farwell, in terms of that offensive piece for the Eagles, all out there on the pitch at the same time.
That's right. And I think Coach Thompson's just trying to mix it up a little bit, with injuries, with, different situations against teams that play a little bit differently than you're used to. A high-quality team like Wake Forest, it does make sense to mix it up a little bit. And you want to get that offensive going. Again, they have the least amount of shots in the ACC. They need to put some more shots on goal.
Javi O'Neill on the near side, leading Alfie Hughes. Hughes trying to get wide enough to create. That's headed down by Wake and cleared out by Flax.
And who's running in on the box at that time? There were a couple guys there, but no one is running down the middle. That's how Wake Forest scored. That's what you need to have. You need to have someone moving in on the box on those crosses. Alfie Hughes making a nice little, first few touches of the game for him. Gets a nice cross off, but look, there's no one there in the box.
Ball bounces through here and is cleared out. Alfie Hughes, who came through a couple of different clubs in his native England. Leeds United the last couple of years, was with the Manchester United Academy for 3 years as well. Alfie from Middlesbrough, England. Really skilled, technically sound player that Bob Thompson's really excited about. Here's Chavi, creates, that extra bounce. Looked like it could have been off O'Neill, but it does go off out of Wake.
I think that was a good call. It just barely went off. Yeah, it's kind of like a pinball back and forth, went off Wake Forest defender. But O'Neill trying to get it to the baseline, gets a corner out of it.
Almost felt like it was it pinballed off O'Neill again and then may have even deflected once more before going out. So corner kick coming up for Boston College, their second of the afternoon. Eagles go short, spins in, bounces through. Oh my, that was untouched for a while. Now Gundelach settles, and it's knocked down. An excellent hustle play by the Wake defense. Guarino and Escribano both hustling out there in a dangerous spot. There's a player down for Boston College behind the play, and they will stop the clock here to take a look.
So BC making the runs in the box, bounces around a little bit. Gundelach gets a shot off, but unfortunately it's deflected. Not enough space. They closed in pretty quickly, and that's what Wake Forest is good at doing. So an opportunity for BC
It was C.J. Williams who was down for the Eagles.
But again, anything can happen in the box when it's bouncing around like that. You know, set plays, you can work on those all you want, but, you know, deflection here and there, and you never would. I mean, that was almost a handball there. They clear it, and Gundelach had not enough space. He settled it and then hit it. It was deflected, but, you know, anything can happen inside that area.
You saw on the bottom of that sequence on the screen, Williams kind of grabbing his head at one point as he got hit. Again, you don't want to make too much of these little moments inside of a game, but, you know, if you take the last 3-4 minutes of the first half and the first minute and a half, 2 minutes of the second half, you start to get a little bit of a stretch of a little bit more time for Boston College down their attacking end of the field.
Alfie Hughes, perfect example. His first few touches on the left side here, he gets a beautiful cross-off. And that, in their defense, possibly the guys weren't expecting that. But that's the thing. You have to anticipate that situation. So whether you expect it or not, you have to make those runs into the area. And Alfie Hughes made a great cross on that on that play right off the bat in the first minute of the second half.
The lone goal in this game belongs to Cooper Flax in the 10th minute for 10th-ranked Wake Forest, looking for its second conference win of the season. Wake turned in 14-6 last year, another NCAA tournament under Bobby Muse. Ended up losing in the first round to Ohio State in the NCAA tournament. That's a ball that stayed in. Now was actually ruled that it was out back where Burkhart took the kick from. So throw in for Wake Forest and Escribano.
Thank you. The sisters have to drive it fast.
So BC trying to eliminate the space in the midfield here. So Wake Forest just switching it from one side to the other and then attacking on the left side.
Boston College team that has not lost very much on this field since Bob Thompson took over. And a Wake team that has not lost at all in this mini turnaround since the Pitt game, where they are unbeaten. Odiambo stepped up, couldn't quite take it away, and now Wake going with a long ball through for Guarino, but it was too far.
The center circle is a guideline. You can't get inside the center circle.
Flax came back to play it, works it wide for Sidney Paris.
That's good dispossession there by BC. Wake Forest really trying to possess the ball, but you don't want to necessarily stab. You don't want to stab at all playing defense. That time it worked. BC got the ball back, but now there's a counterattack from Wake Forest because they intercepted.
White pushing forward, kind of stumbled on his footing around Burkhart. Odiambo coming back into the play. Now it's Forbes. Jelani Forbes trying to find room, got caught in between two defenders. And then White knocked down in the box in a dangerous area, but ruled it was a clean play. Wake still trying to push forward here. Tubbs jumps way up into the play for one of the center backs for Wake. And then that was whistled down as it came up and looked like it hit the referee, perhaps. And that's why play was stopped.
Gonna give a drop ball, I think, yeah.
Yep.
Here's, I mean, right here, here's a situation back.
Oh, man, dangerous
live.
spot. Oh, what a save. And another. Oh, Klein. Absolute robbery on Guarino twice.
Yep, and here's the rebound, the through ball. Quick, and the quick turn, and the shot, Klein right there, and he actually saved it with his back to the ball. I think his right arm got a piece of that ball on the rebound shot. So we were going to look at those other replays, but here, let's look at this. This is more exciting.
There's
Great
the one,
save.
and kind of spinning around in the process, got it on his back. My goodness, Brennan Klein keeps it 1-0.
Yeah, that was fantastic. But you saw the penetration there in the box there. Wake Forest is getting in there, and they're possessing the ball. BC needs to be very careful with this.
It is wet. It has rained from the jump in this game. Back an hour and 20 minutes or so ago. And these two teams working through it on this Friday afternoon in Newton. Bowati and Paris tied up. And possession to BC. Well, Brendan Klein's had a wonderful year when he's been out there. He's missed a little bit of time this year. Missed the BU game due to injury. Tops in the ACC in goals against average coming in, second in save percentage, and top 15 nationally in both of those categories.
Has not been scored on very often, and that's a credit to him and his defenders. You know, again, we've talked about that all day. Defensively, BC's been great.
Paris will work through the back line. 37 minutes remain in this 1-0 lead for Wake Forest. Wake has lost its last 2 games on this pitch against Boston College, including as the number 3 team in the country in 2019. With the Eagles pulling the upset. Xavi O'Neal thought he had a turnover. Well played by Escribano to knock it out on the near side. The redshirt junior from Frisco, Texas, who came through FC Dallas's academy, Escribano. Serafino, who's been out there the whole way. Eagles really have not made many subs in this game. Odiambo, who's up there. Okenla came in briefly at the end of the first half, and then Hughes starting this second half. That's been it for Boston College.
Oh, Elfie Hughes with the nutmeg there.
And on the run now, trying to create space with Bowati out wide. A little hesitation as Bowati gets going. Hughes in the middle.
This is good. This is good possession by BC, moving the ball around. They disrupted, some of Wake Forest's momentum in the last 5 minutes by transitioning, getting the ball away from them, and now the momentum's on BC's side if they can just hold the ball.
Serafino wide. Working back through the middle. Aiden Farwell. I've seen him play up in a true striker role. He's playing a little bit back in this particular formation, again, with a lot of offensive pieces in there. Bowati, oh, that's settled nicely for him. Bowati sends it on, and Alfin is on it.
We're going to take a look at Elfie Hughes here. Settles the ball, and the nutmeg. Whoops, there he goes, slips by him. That's a nice play by Elfie. He's made a difference already in the second half here. And that's a nice, quick one-touch by Cargill, I think it was, and then the cross. So, the momentum's certainly on BC's side right now.
This is where, again, you can't just take the results out of it. But when you see the skill of some of those guys between Bowati, who is a sophomore, Hughes, who's a freshman, Xavi O'Neal, who's a freshman, you see the youth and the skill that Bob Thompson is hoping will start to come together as his team continues to grow in experience over the next few seasons.
And we haven't talked about it too much today. You mentioned it earlier in the first half about the youth of this team, but so many freshmen and sophomores. It really is a factor. I mean, it's amazing that these guys are competing at this level. It just goes to show these young guys are going to be so good in the next few years.
Over 70% of the Eagles' field minutes have been from freshmen or sophomores this season. Gundalak wide. That was off of Bowati. There was Serafino. That deflected off of Wake.
In this day and age of the transfer portal, and you get grad students playing all over the place now, there's a lot to be said for having so much experience for these freshmen and sophomores this year, because next year and the year after, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think.
Marco Dos Santos back in for Boston College, replacing Simba Odiambo in his BC debut this afternoon. That pass was wide for Burkhart, with Jeffrey White coming after it for Wake. Cargill settles. O'Neal with a little give and go. Hughes lost his footing. Well defended there by Wake Forest. Over top for Forbes. Forbes got good position, but a good job by C.J. Williams to come in and take away the lane.
Yeah, C.J. Williams saved the day there on that one. You'll see the good defensive play by Wake here. Nice challenge, and then it's going the other way. And then on the other end, Serafino gets back, but Forbes gets the ball, and what do you know? C.J. Williams there to clean it up.
Possession will be Boston College's. Wake thought it was their possession. You're definitely seeing it's getting a little slick out there. I mean, it has been raining with significant ferociousness all afternoon here in Newton. Here come the Eagles. Cargill had to catch himself there, trying to keep his footing. O'Neal plays a deep ball across, looking for Serafino, headed down well by Sidney Paris.
I like that switch, though, too. That's O'Neal trying to switch the play. Wasn't quite high enough, but Serafino making the good run on the right side.
Xavi trying to create space. Really good play by Christian Escribano. That's a veteran play to take Xavi O'Neal off possession. But then, nearly given right back, but the whistle came out at possession of Wake.
That was very nice play. Yeah, I mean, Xavi O'Neal on the left side, dangerous all the time. And you see Escribano does a great job. Gets his foot in there, uses his body a bit to defend really well. Then you see here, I don't know.
That push, I think right there is what they called the push on C.J. Williams.
Yeah, I didn't see, I mean, when it was live, I didn't see it on the replay. I didn't necessarily see it. That's a tough one. I don't know. That could have gone either way, I think.
Sometimes those is Paris developing up the pitch here, still on it, and that is goal kick. Sometimes those can be as much as the referee's angle versus the angle of our cameras. True. And if an arm looks extended from one angle more than it does on another angle, more often than not, it's going to get the call.
Absolutely. And of course, there's always the embellishment as well. That's a factor.
Take another look.
Here's a tight close-up here. Now, to me, that is not a foul. I'm sorry. To me, that's not a foul. I mean, he took a dive at the end as well. I mean, I thought that was just he was closing in on him quickly. Yes, he made body contact, but to me, that was not a foul.
Long ball forward for Bowati, and Alfin is up to get it. So 16 and a half minutes into this second half. I think we'd say more balanced possession-wise in this second half than what we saw for the majority of the first.
I think you're right, but we just saw the stat, 0 shots on goal for Boston College. So that's the challenge they've been facing all season long. They have the least amount of shots in the ACC and no shots on goal today.
Here is White, found some space. Oh my, that was a rocket, but it just sailed high. Jeffrey White did not need much room, and this ball kind of took off, but again, just missed high and wide.
Yeah, Jeffrey White, one of those guys that has earned his keep and is seeing the field, is seeing playing time more and more now. As Coach Muse had told us earlier in the week, takes advantage of it, gets a quick shot off as soon as he gets near the area.
Farwell plays it to the middle and O'Neal. Here is Dos Santos out wide for Serafino. Knocked down off of Escribano. Boy, Escribano's been all over the pitch for Wake in this second half.
Yeah, he's defending very well. Absolutely. It's absolutely pouring right now. It continues to pour.
We are lucky to be inside. It has been a tough one to be working outside for. That's deflected out off Wake. So a game that ended up under the lights after all, even on this matinee start. Hughes, some nifty moves, advances it forward.
A little too much that time.
Still just the one goal on the board, all the way back in the 10th minute from Cooper Flax on this excellent setup from Jelani Forbes.
Forbes with the cross on the ground. Flax one times it in. Not a whole lot you can do about that, but again, one thing you can do is close a little bit tighter at the top of the area there.
The 6-1-3 Demon Deacons and the 2-3-3 Eagles. White got a piece of that one. Burkhardt will try again. O'Neal's pass couldn't find Farwell.
And this is what Wake Forest does so well. I mean, the pressure on Xavi O'Neal right there. You know, he feels the presence of a defender coming in on him. You know, his touch isn't as good as maybe it would be because of that. And that's what Wake Forest is so good at, pressuring the other team into mistakes.
Here's a good ball out front. Klein, aggressive, comes and gets it. Colin Thomas was the closest to it for Wake Forest.
You see it right here. O'Neal gets the ball, settles it, but tries to give it up a little bit too quickly. You know, so he felt the pressure on his back, and that's what Wake Forest is just really good at doing.
Next line.
Here is Burkhardt stepping in. O'Neal, little space in the middle, sends it forward, Bowati. Settled down, Alfie Hughes. One-on-one with Bo Cummins. Hughes to his left foot and earns the corner.
Alfie Hughes, such a dynamic player. I think that was a great substitution by Coach Thompson. He's brought BC to a different level, I think, in this half. He's dangerous. He has such good touch on the ball. You see Xavi O'Neal there with a nice through ball, and then Alfie here on the left side dancing around. He gets a corner out of it. You know, it just brings a different dynamic to the team.
See what the Eagles have dialed up. Dos Santos short. Farwell plays it in. Bouncing ball through, well defended. And sent all the way down pitch by Wake. That one came all the way through untouched. And Wake will have a goal kick.
That was interesting because O'Kenla was right there. And you see Klein not afraid to come out of his area. Long cross and O'Kenla right there with a couple of defenders. But, you know, a little push forward, he could have gotten ahead on that ball. But he was in the mix, so, I mean, that's what BC wants, these chances.
Wake off the restart. 23 minutes remaining here in Newton in a 1-0 lead for the Demon Deacons. Wake looking for his second consecutive road win after defeating Campbell 3-1 on Tuesday night.
I think it's good BC is pushing, though. You know, they're not satisfied with just sitting back and trying to defend. They're trying to push forward and trying to get on the board.
Dos Santos really got forced wider than he wanted to there. Boati nearly got it back. Boati does get it back. Boati is stopped by Alfin.
That's what you have to do, is capitalize on those mistakes. But Boati in the right place at the right time. And Wake Forest now feeling a little bit of the pressure. So Boati there one time, then gets it back, gets a shot on goal.
Ted Cargill wide. Oh, Farwell. Oh, no. That's just the last thing you want to see. Aiden Farwell has been through so much and just caught an odd step there. And that's, you just have to hope it's not the worst there
cramp
with the Eagles junior.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's just a cramp by the way they're kind of treating it right now to stretch it out. Hopefully it's not a knee or anything like that. So there he goes. He's getting up. That's a good sign.
That's a really good sign for Farwell, who missed.
Yeah, I think he just landed a little awkwardly, and so it kind of maybe tweaked a muscle. His calf muscle, it looks like, so he stretched out a little bit. He's working it. That's a good sign.
Farwell missed all of last season due to injury and was still kind of slowly working his way back in at the beginning of this season. Someone that Bob Thompson said had a chance to be the real X factor of the year this year. If he was healthy, he's been playing pretty consistently. Did miss the game against Virginia Tech, but back now.
Always a good sign. Calf is nothing compared to a blown out knee or Achilles, as we know.
Real positive there. Oh, that's turned over right off. It's Mitchell. Rolled Mitchell. Oh, he missed.
Oh, that was the opportunity. Wake had to close this game out. Oh, it's a bad error. That is a tough one to swallow there.
Oh, man, the chance giveth. And then
the leading scorer of the ACC takes it, shoots it wide. Oh, unbelievable. What a break for BC.
So each team gets a mini break and avoids a mini disaster.
Even mentally, for that to happen, that's actually a great break for Boston College, because now they're thinking, okay, well, maybe Wake Forest isn't as dangerous as we thought they'd be. You know, they missed that shot. It could have been 2-0 pretty easily with that mistake. But now their confidence, they're okay. You know, here we go. Let's see what we can do now. Possess the ball in the last 20 minutes. See if we can get some good shots off.
Serafino with a run down the side. Dos Santos working against Thomas. Cummins comes close to O'Neal. Gives it back for Burkhart.
There you go. That's some good, nice 1 and 2 touches. That's what you need to do. Let the ball do the work.
Farwell does, as you said, seem to be okay. Plays it forward for Boati. And then Cargill got knocked, or excuse me, Dos Santos got knocked off.
Tight spaces there.
Mitchell trying to get around. Gundelach defended both him and his own man, CJ Williams. Under 20 minutes remaining. Let's just take it from the team trailing right now, which happens to be Boston College. Are you starting to think about changing anything here? Have you liked some of the development that we've seen here in this second half?
I think you sort of keep it the way it is right now. I mean, they've got a little bit of momentum. I think what they need to focus in on it though is getting the ball to feed and accurate passes in the 1 and 2 touches, because when the ball is moving quickly, you know, it puts Wake Forest in a bit of a disadvantage. And as you can see now, the possession is good for BC. So I don't necessarily, personnel-wise, I don't think you want to change anything quite yet.
Gundelach over top. Cummins answered well. That was off of Serafino, so a throw for Wake. A 10th minute goal by Cooper Flax is the difference in a 1-0 game here in Newton. O'Neill with White coming towards him from behind. Jeffrey White, who's gone the whole way in this second half. Xavi O'Neill. Back for Burkhart.
That's good possession.
Yep, it's Cargill. Ted Cargill trying to find a lane. Cargill throws one. And Alphin got the first piece and then secures.
And that was good possession. I mean, there were a couple of nice 1-2 touches. Cargill gets the ball here, makes a run toward the baseline, gets it actually what was probably a cross, but ended up being a shot in a way, right at the keeper. But at the same time, that's an opportunity. And you continue with those, something may happen. Now you just need to contain Wake Forest going the other way. And this is going to be what Wake Forest is so good at, the possession and then moving forward and pressing.
Cummins on the near side. Kajima goes out wide. Jose Kajima. Mitchell slides over for Flax. Sets up Mitchell. It's too tall. He's maybe trying to get that header connecting through the box. Not a bad idea. Wake will sub here. Vlad Wallant will come into the game for the first time. Wallen, who scored a goal last year against Boston College.
This is what Wake Forest is so good at. And rolled Mitchell right there. He made the one touch, boom, boom, knocked it, crossed over. Then they tried to find him on the other end.
Could have even been Thomas as well, who was coming down the wide side of the box.
Right.
That may have been the intended target.
Yep. And then, I mean, a few 1-2 touches like that, and next thing you know, there's a chance.
Wake starting to press a little bit more, has created some turnovers. It's just so difficult to hold possession in this kind of weather situation with the rain just pouring down all afternoon.
Yep. A good thing that it's not a muddy mess out there on a natural grass field.
There's certainly your positive of the term. Serafino finds Burkhart. DJ Williams, okay, jumping way up into the play here as the Eagles center back. Certainly something that Bob Thompson will at times encourage. If there's a lane, his center backs jump way up. In this case, Cargill's the one who stays home. Throw in for Dos Santos.
Nice move by O'Neal.
Xavi O'Neal. Xavi got it knocked down. Still on the edge of the box. It was Amponso had the first touch on it for Wake. Wake back on possession. 13:38 to go.
This is a good back and forth by both teams, possession-wise and penetration-wise.
Played over top for Wallant. Vlad Wallant comes back left. Wallant still doing a nice job to create. Here's Mitchell, turns, and Klein is right there.
Oh, Mitchell. He's going to be kicking himself for that one. That was an unbelievable opportunity. A couple of nice touches there. Mitchell, that's the guy you do not want to get the ball in the box like that. One touch and shot. Fortunately for Klein, it was right at him. But if Mitchell had, picked a corner, that was definitely 2-0.
Farwell, who is down for Boston College momentarily. We've talked a lot about it. Again, the press that both of these teams have put on. There was a chance earlier. May have been the best chance of the game there for Mitchell.
Yeah, just a terrible mistake by Cargill. He knew it right away. But then you see the turnover here. So Wake Forest coming back the other way. And then there's Xavi O'Neal with probably a pass that was a little bit too quick because he felt the pressure on his back. So those turnovers have been key. Those weren't the only ones in the game, but those were, noticeable. And, those are definitely factors throughout today.
So Farwell comes out here. He kind of went down a little bit again and then was able to get up and walk off under, but he's really gutting it out on these slick conditions. So the Eagles will sub Farwell out. Connor Gibson comes in for the first time for BC, the sophomore from right here in Newton. Alfie away from Vlad Wallant. Hughes tried to split two and did earn the foul, so Boston College will get the restart. Dos Santos coming to the middle. Here's O'Neal. Little strong on the touch. Say that did not go out. They play on. O'Neal got taken down. No call. Boy, it feels like at every one of these, each side had an argument. That ball could have been out on the near side, and then the Eagles may have had an argument in the box.
Right, it was almost out, but it wasn't, and the linesman saw it. It was not out.
Alfie Hughes on the same side as O'Neal here and comes to the middle. Alfie too strong on the touch.
A bit much there. If you kept that on the ground, I think that would have been a successful pass. That's a tough one. Alfie's so good at bringing the ball in, though, and the quick 1-2 touches on the ball. That ball was just in, stayed in. Xavi O'Neal, and there he's so good at taking it.
I think he was already going down before that. I think that was an okay no call.
Yeah, no, I don't think that was a foul at all. But he was dribbling into traffic, so that was part of the problem, and he realized that he wasn't going to get a shot off. But that's why he's so dangerous. You cut in like that, and you take on a defender, and even if you don't, one little touch to the right or the left, and you can get a shot off. He's so good at that. unfortunately, he didn't get the shot off that time because of the traffic that he was facing. But get the ball to him right inside that box, and it's dangerous.
Dos Santos out of bounds to Wake. 10:28 to go. 1-0 the lead for Wake Forest, and the 10th minute goal by Cooper Flax that has continued to hold up. Wake, who has not lost since the Pitt game, trying to extend their 4-0-1 mark since that time. Coming into a place where it's been difficult for road teams to come away with wins. Serafino pushing forward. Serafino! That deflects out and earns a BC corner.
And that's really all you want to do is just continue to get shots off, or at least chances, so you're going to maybe get a set piece like a corner on offense here. And that, you know, even if that wasn't the best shot in the world, he gets a corner out of it because it's deflected. Got to take advantage of these offensive chances.
Dos Santos got it back from Cargill. That's really well defended by Cooper Flax. Just absolutely took away the opportunity for Chavi O'Neal, and Cummins is upended.
That's going to be a card.
Yep. That was elite defensively from Wake Forest.
Yeah, and the quick counterattack and the speed that they have on the outside there. Understandable why you do that, but you know you're going to get a card if you do that. Serafino coming in like that. Absolutely, definitely going to get a card on that.
It's one of those you probably take the card over the breakaway.
Correct.
But it absolutely is the card.
You just have to be careful because that could be a red sometimes. That's good pressure by O'Neal.
Force back for Alphen. Bobby Muse has put more and more trust in his keeper to kind of read some of these presses and manage how they start to develop from the backs. And he's been calling it less, been trusting Alphen to call it a little bit more, the junior keeper, who's in his third year as the full-time starter for Wake Forest. Good job by Cummins. Jumped in front of O'Neal. As the tide started to turn back, not here as O'Neal came back and took it away from Bo Cummins.
There's possession. That's a good idea. Smart move by O'Neal. He recovered, got the ball back, dispossessed Wake, and now the challenge is to hold on to the ball and maintain possession these last 8 minutes.
O'Neal splits two, has Hughes. Against Kojima.
Needs help. He needs help. There you go.
Burkhardt plays it back through C.J. Williams. On a rain-soaked Friday afternoon, a 1-0 lead for Wake Forest. On the 10th minute goal by Flax. Is that enough? With 7:19 to go.
Higher, Jack. Higher than him.
O'Neal has some help to his left. Comes to the middle. O'Neal knocked down. Bo Cummins got in the way. And Serafino trying to create.
Oh.
What a chance, though. But Gibson couldn't quite settle it down. And it's up over the bar. Boston College, we've seen more chances as this game has started to develop, but still maybe not the grade A one that the Eagles have been looking for.
Yeah, Pawadi with a chance there. O'Neal had the chance. You see Cargill taking it to the baseline here with a chance. So a number of good opportunities, and this is classic O'Neal from that spot. Not a great shot, but that was the area where he's very dangerous. And Serafino here at the top of the area. And just a bad one-time touch there, so way over the bar. But, you know, BC's had their opportunities, have not taken advantage of it. They need to get these shots right on net, though.
Forced forward, and Klein back to get it.
It's a great move, great idea, smart play.
Serafino for Dos Santos. Dos Santos, it got knocked down. Burkhardt steps in. O'Neal. And it's Burkhardt towards net. Header was there, but it was knocked down. Gibson flying in. I think there was a Wake body that got a piece of it after the initial header.
That was one of the best opportunities BC has had all day. They are not backing down here in the last 5 minutes. And this is it. This is the possession they were hoping for. Now if they can get it in the area, let's see what happens.
Possession-wise, there's a lot to like in this second half, but can the Eagles convert it to a finishing touch down a goal against Wake with 4:33 left? Burkhardt got there ahead of Wallen. Hughes to the middle. Hughes looking for help. Elects to go for his back Gundelach.
Okay, they're looking for it. It just hasn't been there.
Wake has done a good job taking away some of these lanes that the Eagles have tried to find.
That's a good ball.
O'Neal. Flag is up.
I didn't quite see if he was off. He may have been off, but that was a great run by Chabi O'Neal and a great through pass.
Clock will stop here. Again, the referee is Kevin Morrison today, is at his discretion in these situations to stop it in the college game if he feels like too much time is being taken off. Everyone's a little bit different in those situations, gives the team that's winning a little bit more time.
Got to get moving here. 3 minutes left.
Serafino for Dos Santos. A lot has gone through Burkhardt on this left side. Hughes. Good job being forced off by Garrison Tubbs. A 1-0 lead for Wake, going back to the 10th minute goal. Set up by Forbes and finding Cooper Flax in the middle. 2:38 to go. Cargill left side, Burkhardt. Hughes, who did not play the first half today, but has been strong in the second half.
I really like the movement BC has going here, the possession, and quick. They're moving it quickly.
There is no doubt they've had the possession in this second half. Can they find a chance late? That one's right in on Alphen.
And that's the thing. That's a low percentage cross. You know, I mean, that's the thing. They do so well building it up. Quick one-time, you know, touches here and there at speed, and then the serve like that. There's just no one in the box.
And to be fair, and to credit Wake as well, they have taken away a lot of what has felt like at times pretty good buildups for Boston College.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, this is a great defensive team in Wake Forest. It's hard to play against them and hard to penetrate their defensive backs.
Shipped wide. CJ Williams knocks it down. Dos Santos to throw. 1:27 left. Space on the near side. Burkhart started quickly from Klein.
When it's not there, you switch it.
Yeah, Wake has forced the Eagles pretty deep here. With 1 minute to go. A 1-0 lead for Wake Forest.
Don't want to get sloppy here, though. Want to hold on to the ball, try to get a good chance.
Good play by Wallen to take Alfie Hughes off possession. Vlad Wallen came in as a late sub here in the second half. Did an excellent job just to play it right to the corner. And that is out. Throw for BC, but a whistle behind the play as Cooper Flax is down for Wake.
So Alfie looking for help there. Wasn't quite sure what to do. Great defensive play. And then Wake, counterattacks down the other way and brings it to the corner. Clock has stopped, and I think it's going to be a Boston College throw-in. And
Let's
see if this was actually an injury or not.
Well, he definitely got hit in the back, but it looked like it was in the back. But you just never know with the head. Sometimes any kind of hit forces your head an odd angle. It does stop play here. There was no foul called on it with 32 seconds left.
Right. So the clock does stop, and the rain does not stop. So some arguments between the coaching staff here to figure out what's going on, but
Flax will come off to the near side. Again, no foul, so throw in for BC. Brennan Klein has been removed from his net. Coming over to take this free start. Wake will sub here late. Julian Kennedy, who scored a goal late against Campbell, will come in. 27 seconds here for Boston College, down a goal.
Need bodies in the box once they get it up here.
Alfie Hughes can't handle it on the near side.
That is a tough one.
And a throw in for Wake with 17 seconds to go.
And Alfie has had such a great game, too. That's unfortunate. He's such a good player.
On this slick afternoon, Wake will try to run it out. Final seconds, it's cleared down, and Wake Forest survives in Newton.